Italy, from being the heart of the Roman Empire to evolving into a bunch of powerful independent city-states and the center of the Renaissance, to being invaded by France, triggering decades of conflict, and ending in a treaty that would forever change the now devastated country. It would take until the 1800s for Italy to start recovering after years of being dominated mainly by Spain, who caused other issues, although it never returned to its previous state, even to this day. But how did one invasion trigger such a mess? If walls could talk, the Italian War is told somewhat from the perspective of Rome. Rome, then located within the Papal States, which it was the capital of, was home to the Papal seat. It's 1494. Pope Alexander VI is the current pope, also king of the Papal States. His reign is marred by scandals. It's also the Renaissance, and not only has the city attracted many artists who wish to study its costly ruins, but the current pope is also a patron of art and science. The first thing he did as pope was secure the city from naval attacks by making a fortress, which was great, considering during his reign, France would invade Italy in the hopes of conquering the kingdom of Naples. Although they never attacked Rome, everyone has heard of what they did to Naples. France breached the walls of its castle and killed everyone inside. Known as the Sack of Naples, outrage has spread within Italy, and concern over France's power has led to the League Venice being formed with other countries, and they were able to get France out of Naples. However, the whole thing has left the Italian city-state in shock. The Second Italian War would start during Alexander VI's reign as well. The French army reached Capo, which surrendered but was then sacked. In addition to the massive destruction of materials, an estimated 3,000 were killed, actions that horrified the rest of the Italian peninsula. At some point, France gained control of Naples, but after territory disputes, the French were expelled once again. In 1503, a new pope was elected in Rome, Julius II, who also gained a reputation as a patron of the arts. During his reign, the Papal States engaged in military aggression against Venice. This is what would start the Third War, but soon after, Venice made peace with Rome, as both decided France was more of a threat than each other, because France held so much land in the north. Julius formed a new Holy League, which included a bunch of places all against France. The French won a victory at Marignano, reclaimed Milan, and negotiated a peace which would last all of 4 years. And over the next few years, a new pope was elected, Pope Leo X, who probably did more than any pope to establish Rome as the center of European culture. His reign was followed by the short papacy of Pope Adrian VI, and then that of Pope Clement VII, from 1523 onward. During this time, Europe's political balance changed when Spain, the Low Countries, and the Holy Roman Empire were brought under one rule, Emperor Charles, who was now the most powerful man in Europe. In 1521, Charles' army took Milan from France. Venice left the war 2 years later, and Pope Clement tried to negotiate peace to no avail. The Pope, out of concern that the Holy Roman Empire's power would be a threat to papal independence, later formed the League of Cognac to combat them. The troops of the Holy Roman Empire had not been paid in months at this point, so they are now expecting to collect their payment by plunder. With most of Italy already destroyed, they think only the capitals could still cover the bill. So when the Holy Roman Empire's troops, many being followers of Martin Luther, came into papal territories, they mutinied and booked it 200 miles south to besiege Rome. They had around 14,000 Germans and 6,000 Spaniards, whereas the troops defending Rome numbered only 5,000 militiamen and 189 papal Swiss guards. On May 6, the Holy Roman Empire's army attacked the walls near Rome. Rome defenders kept fighting, but they were hopelessly outnumbered. Some surviving soldiers fell back to St. Peter's Basilica, where they were massacred. After killing the defenders of the capital, the pillage began. Churches, monasteries, palaces, etc. were looted and destroyed. Any citizen of Rome found, no matter their allegiance, was subjected to the violence. The soldiers, since they supported Martin Luther, destroyed Catholic holy sites and mocked their religion. There was violence towards clergy members. Priests were targeted and killed, monks were castrated, and nuns were raped. Despite this, most of the pillaging was done to make money. After 3 days, the soldiers were ordered to stop pillaging, but they continued for 5 more days anyway. Pope Clement was a prisoner, but soon surrendered and agreed to pay a ransom in exchange for his life and sign some treaties. By the end, around 1,150 of Rome's soldiers were killed, and there were 45,000 civilian casualties. After the sack of Rome, violence spread into the surrounding regions by the same troops, who sacked 2 more cities and devastated the countryside. Before the sack, Rome was a center for Italian Renaissance culture. Now, Rome was suffering depopulation and economic collapse. The population went from over 55,000 before the attack to 10,000 afterwards. Pillaging ended 8 months after the sack, when the city's food supply ran out and disease appeared, caused by the mass of unburied corpses in the streets. The sack of Rome is cited as the end of the Italian High Renaissance. After learning of the sack, Emperor Charles claimed he was embarrassed and would pay back Rome for the destruction. Clement, unable to go against the empire anymore, crowned Charles Holy Roman Empire and King of Italy in 1530. The aftermath of the sack forever changed the Catholic Church, and it helped make the split between Catholics and Protestants permanent. There were 3 more wars after this one, in which Italy was destroyed to such an extent that Europe decided it wasn't worth fighting over anymore and turned their attention to the Americas. At the end of the wars, southern Italy was ruled by Spain, while the other half remained somewhat independent as a constitute kingdom of the Holy Roman Empire. The most significant Italian power left was the papacy, as it maintained major cultural and political influence, although less than before. It would take until the 19th century for Italy to achieve true political independence after years of being dominated mainly by Spain, although it never returned to its previous state, even to this day.